Listen carefully. If you leave this unfinished, you may continue losing in ways you don't even recognize. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, through patterns you repeat without questioning. Right now, there is someone in your life who has already formed a judgment about you. Not based on who you might become, not on what you feel within, but on what you consistently show through your actions. And the harder truth is this: you helped shape that image. Every overly eager reply, every instant response, every moment you chose comfort over honesty, each one was a signal, a quiet message that said, "This is who I am." It may not have been your intention, but intention matters far less than perception. And yes, it's uncomfortable to hear. Good. Because discomfort is often the beginning of awareness. And awareness is where change begins. Many people believe attraction is something slowly built over time, like stacking bricks. But more often it behaves differently. It can ignite in a moment, or remain absent no matter how much effort you invest. For many, without realizing it, it has already faded. But here is where things become important. There exists a subtle shift, so small it is often overlooked, that can completely transform how someone experiences you. It requires no performance, no rehearsed words, no emotional declarations that create pressure. Only presence. Once you understand this shift, you begin to notice what was always there. The pauses that felt meaningless. The looks that lingered a second longer. The moments where something almost changed but didn't. And then you are left with a decision. Continue as you have been, predictable, safe, easily understood. Or step into something different. Something more grounded, more real. You already know which one leads somewhere new. Step 1. Stop placing yourself beneath others. Few people will say this directly, but it is a truth worth facing. The moment you elevate someone above yourself, you quietly reduce your own value in the interaction. Not because they demand it, but because you offer it. When you seek approval, your behavior changes in subtle ways. You laugh too quickly even when something isn't that funny. You agree too easily, even when you don't fully mean it. You hold back your thoughts, fearing they might disrupt how you are seen. In doing so, you become easy to predict. And what is predictable rarely creates intrigue. Attraction does not thrive in certainty alone. It lives in curiosity, in the space between knowing and wondering, in moments where something feels just slightly out of reach. So ask yourself honestly, why would anyone see you differently if you present yourself exactly like everyone else trying to gain their approval? They wouldn't. But the moment you stop performing and begin expressing, everything changes. You're no longer reacting to gain something. You are simply being. You can be lighthearted without trying too hard. You can disagree without tension. You can allow silence without rushing to escape it. And in that shift, something subtle happens. You are no longer seeking attention. You are holding your ground. That alone is powerful. Because instead of appearing as someone who admires from a distance, you become someone who stands beside, equal in presence. Step 2. Change the feeling, not the words. Most people focus too much on what to say. But words, by themselves, rarely create lasting impact. What people remember, what shapes their perception, is how they feel in your presence. If you have been placed in the category of just a friend, your interactions likely follow a familiar pattern. They are quick, easy, light. Conversations move fast. Jokes fill the gaps. There is comfort, but very little depth. To change this, you don't need new lines. You need a different pace. Slow things down. Let your eye contact settle. Not intense, but steady. Let your voice carry calm instead of urgency. Speak with intention, not to impress, but to express. And most importantly, stop trying to fill every silence. Because something interesting happens when you don't. Silence, which once felt awkward, begins to carry weight. Most people fear it. They rush to escape it. They cover it with words, laughter, or distraction. But when you remain composed within it, you create space. And in that space, people begin to feel you, not just hear you. That feeling is rare. And rarity creates attention. Soon, a question forms in her mind, often without words. Why does this feel different? That question is the beginning of everything. Because attraction rarely starts with certainty. It starts with curiosity. Not clarity, but intrigue. And intrigue invites attention in a way effort never can. Step 3. Express interest without pressure. This is where balance matters most. Many people fall into extremes. They either say nothing at all, hoping their feelings will somehow be understood without being expressed, or they say everything at once, unloading emotions in a way that creates intensity too quickly. Both approaches create distance. There is a more measured way. You don't reveal everything. You reveal enough. Through small, intentional moments. A look that lingers slightly longer than usual. A comment that carries meaning without being heavy. A statement that invites thought rather than demands a response. Not overwhelming. Just enough to stay with her after the moment passes. Because attraction grows best when there is space to think, to wonder, to revisit. Instead of forcing a reaction, you introduce a feeling. And then you let it breathe. You don't chase reassurance. You don't rush to clarify. You don't try to control how it is received. You remain steady, because confidence is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet and controlled. And when you show interest without needing a specific outcome, it changes everything. There is no pressure, no expectation, only possibility. And possibility is far more inviting than certainty forced too soon. Step 4. Do not chase, create space. This is the principle most people resist, because it feels counterintuitive. When you care about someone, your instinct is to give more time, more attention, more effort. But too much of anything loses its value. When you are always present, always available, always the one reaching out, there is no contrast. And without contrast, there is no awareness. People begin to experience your presence as constant rather than meaningful. But when you create space, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of self-respect, you allow something important to happen. You allow absence to speak. You stop overextending. You stop forcing conversations that don't naturally unfold. You stop prioritizing someone else above your own direction. Instead, you turn inward, toward your growth, your work, your purpose, your life. And in doing so, you become centered, not distant, not cold, just grounded. And from that place, something shifts again. She begins to notice, to reach out, to move closer, not because you are playing a game, but because the dynamic has changed. You are no longer orbiting around her. You have your own direction. And that is compelling in a way that effort alone can never achieve. Because when you are not dependent on someone else's attention to feel complete, you become something entirely different in their eyes. Not someone seeking approval, but someone who already stands whole. And that is the shift most people never see, until it is too late, or until they finally decide to change.